and one of the first live streams I've done in like a while. And as you can clearly see, I am by no means in my bedroom in Georgia. No, sir. I am out here on the porch of a mill house in the middle of what was once the logging town of Cass, West Virginia. Yes, as you can see, the town still exists. It's a museum slash tourist railroad up here in West Virginia. And this is my third trip back in over 3 years. And it may be my last one. I've got my computer set up inside, transferring footage from the drive-in. Um, I already tried. Yeah, this is one of the mill houses here. It's the one closest to the river, which I don't know if you can see it, but it's high. It's been raining like crazy up here today. We got in about, I think, an hour, 2 hours ago, 2 to 3 hours ago, give or take. And yeah, as you can tell, I'm on a porch swing, doing something I hardly ever get to do at home. Just sit out here and relax and swing. So, yeah, I was hoping that a lot of the people who were here 3 years ago would still be here, but sadly, a lot of them have, I guess, passed away, retired, quit, or transferred. I know, if you've watched my other videos of Cass that I filmed back in 2017, the conductor for the train on Bald Knob, Josh, he apparently, I think from what I heard, he quit due to COVID. He couldn't get the income he needed to provide for his family, so I guess he's quit. I really hope he comes back, because I could tell when I talked to him last, he loved his job. He loved it very much, and he made the trip enjoyable. He made the train ride enjoyable. That's why I remember him so much, is because I had become good friends with him over the last two visits. The first when I was 13, and the second when I was 17. So, I hate that he quit. I hope he comes back. But, that'll ultimately be up to him to decide. Because technically, I don't think there's anybody, out there who was as experienced as he was, as far as what he had to do on the train. Gosh, you mean at my house? Yes. Problem is, our house isn't built that way. It doesn't have a full-blown porch out front. But I honestly doubt my parents would bother doing it. But, yeah, B&O fan, no, Josh does not live with me. He's just another live stream viewer. I tried getting internet down at the store, the company store, but there's not any. It's literally just for the houses, I think. And I don't want to risk causing problems with their internet system, so I'm not going to try and stream down there at the store. So everything, aside from what I may live stream here at this house, everything else is going to be pre-recorded. In fact, I've already got a massive, massive backlog of footage from up in Connecticut when I was with Jesse to now, basically. And before you guys start freaking out, yes, I went to Connecticut. Yes, I saw Jesse. But no, I'm not giving away, exactly where he's staying. In fact, any photography I did near his place of residency has since had only one copy made and the original photo deleted. In other words, any photos I took near his place will only be private. I'm not going to display a single photo I took that I may have taken anywhere near where he lived. So, unless I have his approval, any of the photos I took near where he lived are not going to be displayed. In fact, there are specific photos that I am not going to display publicly at all, in print or online. So, yeah. I'm not going to say what the photos are, but all I can say is they're personal to both of us. So they're not, the only prints that I'll ever make of them are going to be for me and for him. In other words, I'm only going to have them printed twice. First set of printed photos will just be for me to have. The other set of printed photos will be ones I'll have mailed to him at some point whenever I'm able to get them printed. I've already got a metric ton of film and photography from other places we went to that I need to get transferred. But there's stuff, I'll just say there's video of both of us in Groton, Connecticut aboard the Nautilus. There's footage at New London of us at the train station watching the trains. There's footage from the bay that he filmed the Amtrak trains on at the Northeast Corridor. We went back there so I could see it. And I call it the Acela Express that going through. We both did. I forget the name of the town, so I'm not going to say it because I'm worried I'll screw it up. But there's basically just a lot that I need to transfer and take care of. Again, there is no video footage from places that were near his location, his exact location. Nor will there ever be. I only took photos, and even then, most of the photographs I took have already been deleted. For very obvious reasons. Train Boy, I think there may be 4 or 5 people, but that was from a 2010 or 2011 census, so I would imagine they were probably the last few long-time residents, the people who were here, you know, when the railroad was still hauling at logs. So I don't think anybody is still living in town full-time anymore, unless it's the staff that's here to take care of it. You know, yeah. I think, is it the interstate that looks like it was built a few years ago, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago? Because if so, yes. There's an interstate we went on coming in that was different from the one we went on before in the last trip. And my God, it was glorious. The scenery was fantastic. We saw mountains, not hills. Jesse is so used to seeing mountains in his state that he literally calls them hills. Only when they have a rock on the summit does he call them a mountain. Here, I'm sorry, mate. There's rocks everywhere. They're mountains. I'm sorry, okay? I'm just telling you straight up. They're mountains. Hell, the mountains here are so dang tall, and the roads go up so high on them, that you literally drive through the clouds on rainy days. I kid you not. Train Boy stuff. The company store in town is still open. It does have a restaurant. It's also a gift shop. The sawmill buildings burned in the 70s and 80s. The original depot burned in the 70s. The shop, depot, and planing mill burned in the 70s. The sawmill burned in the early 80s. The stacks for the mill collapsed in the late 80s. Depots were rebuilt. I mean, the depot and shop were rebuilt. Mill remains a burned out hulk as it was. Company store and houses have been restored as best they can to where you can live in them, like this one, for instance. The trains still run, obviously, but now, due to COVID, they're running on a reduced schedule. So, yeah, tomorrow we're going to be doing the 2 o'clock train to Whitaker, and on Sunday we're doing the run to Bald Knob. And from what my grandmother says, we're trying to think about doing one final trip at some point in the future. We don't know when it'll be or if it'll ever happen, but she and I are wanting to try and come back for one last trip so that I can ride the line all the way from Cass to Durban, because they're almost finished with the rebuilding process on that stretch of the railroad. I think from what I was talking to an employee, he said they're just waiting for steel to come in to replace to help replace an older bridge, and I think they're going to have to lay a little bit more track after that bridge, and once that's done, it's open all the way from Cass to Durban and back. And if they're able to pull this off, it'll be the first time that stretch of railroad has been opened in close to 30 to 35 years. Because that stretch of railroad has been completely impassable since it was all washed out in a flood that hit back in 1985. So over the last 6 to 7 years, they've made a ton of progress trying to restore the railroad between Cass and Durbin. It doesn't go to Marlington. That track's been gone since the 70s, but the Greenbrier Trail goes through there. In fact, a little bit of the trackage that used to be part of the old C&O main line is actually down in that ravine there, and I'll see if I can film it tomorrow morning whenever I get up. The problem, though, is they don't have any kind of a 4G data signal here. They don't have like a cell tower to provide, data. So that means I don't have any way to contact my grandmother as far as where I'm at in town. So it'll be a case of where I'm able to go down and film, but have to come back so we can check in. Train Boy, if you're talking about the Chesapeake and Ohio / B&O units that were here when I was here in 2017, I believe they were sent down here so that they could have maintenance work done on them, because one of them was being patched up in the shop. And I believe they were sent back up to the Cheap Mountain Salamander or whatever. I think it was either Cheap Mountain Salamander or New Tigrit Flyer, one of the two railroads. I don't remember which, but yeah. Link, you're looking at it. Cass, West Virginia. New test channel, no. Jesse is not quitting YouTube. In fact, he released a cinematic video that I unfortunately missed out on regarding Rails Unlimited, and in the beginning, he references one of the main photographers who got me interested in photography, Ogle Winston Link, the man who photographed the Norfolk and Western Railway back in the 1950s. Let me tell you, I was stunned when I saw that, and I told him straight up. I told him straight up after I got done watching the video, after he got done showing it to me. And yes, this is before he posted it. He showed it to me early so he could see what I thought since I missed it. I said, I have one word to say. Fantastic. It was so good. Hell, it was so good it's even impressed a lot of the Rails Unlimited staff. I'm trying to talk to them to see if maybe they could make Jesse a staff member, but from what it sounds like, I don't know if they'll, do it. Plus, that also have to be okay with Jesse too. So I'm gonna try and ask him about that as soon as I can, or whenever he and I are able to talk. But currently, I've got this drive that I filmed from. I think when we first got on the new interstate, pretty much all the way here to Cass. I'm currently transferring the first 9 videos I filmed of that drive. In fact, I literally filmed the drive in real time until my camera died, until my power shot died. Then I switched it over to the Rebel and filmed the rest of the way in. It's the first time I've filmed the drive to Cass in real time since 2013 or 2014. So, yeah. Yeah, Train Boy, I believe that's Graham County Railroad. One of the Graham County Railroad shades, unless if I'm not mistaken, it's one of the ones that was shipped down here to Cass. Yeah, but that video footage I filmed back then still exists. It's really bad, but I went back in, downloaded all the clips, stuck them in the editor that I've got, and muted them all and made it into a time lapse. It'll make you sick because it's all handheld footage. And it was also back when I was jacked up on ADHD medicine. Yes, I was taking like ADHD medicine at the time of my first visit to Cass, and it was a very, very high dose. So much so that it just, made me feel like I was drugged. But so far, I haven't had to take any more. In fact, I've been off that ADHD medicine for the last, I think, 6 to 7 years. So, in a way, I'm clean. Only medicines I take are stuff I have to take for if I have a headache or if I'm sick or stuffed up, really. sinuses. Haven't been to Pigeon Forge, but Jesse's been there. He went to the Titanic Museum up there once, but I forget the year. So yeah. Ah yes. Ah. But yeah. In fact, I'll switch the camera around so you guys can see. Yeah, there's the interior of the house. You can see it's mostly original. They've got an indoor, I think, AC unit slash furnace in that closet, but behind the door is the old chimney and wood stove pipe that was kept inside along the house. But yeah, I hate it. I say that this will probably be my last visit to Cass because technically it actually could be. Because, Ellen's like in her early 70s and she is not getting any younger. And I'm 20, about to be 21. And everybody's wanting me to just start doing what they want me to do instead of what I want to do. So, that's how life is. As for if I could come up here on my own, well, I honestly have to say that that's very unlikely because all of the driving that would be required to get up here is going to be on the interstate, and I don't have any. I don't see. I don't have. I don't even know if I would be comfortable driving on the interstate because, yeah, I would probably have a panic attack trying to drive up here. And the other thing is that you'd have to drive up a mountain just to get here. The thing about Cass is you have to really want to come here in order to find this place. It's nestled that deep in the mountains. There's no cell service. The only Wi-Fi that's here in town is for each house. So why not move to Cass? Simple. Because I would be isolated from everybody I know. My friends, my family. I'll just say this. The reason I don't want to move to Cass is because, one, I'd be completely isolated. Like I'd be the stranger in town. Two, I'd be completely unreachable as far as friends and family that I have back in Georgia. And three or four, I don't even know if you could actually technically still live in the town full time. Because I think since it belongs to the National Park Service, I don't know if anybody's still allowed to live in the town full time. I think the houses are just ones you can rent out now. In fact, I believe most of the staff who work on the railroad, I think, live in the surrounding towns like Greenbrier, Marlington, and so on. But if there was some way I could come up here and stay, I would. I honestly would. If I had have been born up here, raised up here, to where I could have come up here often, enough, and if it were close enough for me to drive to it, believe me, I'd come up here as much as I could. I'd even volunteer if I was able to. But that's not how it works out, I love the place to death. I probably have a love for it that's deeper than most of the people who work here have for it, Believe me, I'd give anything if I could stay, but I can't. I don't have a job. Don't have a continuous income. Train Boy, I don't think they do night runs unless they're for photography events like photo charters. They do them. They do have night runs, but that's only for photographer specials, like Lero Photography or something like that. Lero Photo Charters or something, I believe is the name of the company that offers that. But that's for very experienced photographers who are pretty much like Winston Link, experienced in night photography. And I honestly don't have the same expertise as he had, obviously, because I don't have the equipment. I've only got the Rebel and the PowerShot cameras, and that's it. I don't have any extra equipment. I don't have microphones you can attach to the cameras, nor do I have any, LED light banks. And I can tell you, I don't think I'd have. I don't even have the modern equivalent to Link's flashbulb setups. He used massive banks of flashbulbs to get those pictures of the trains. I don't have that. But, I've got, what I've got is the best I got. Besides, I don't know if Ellen and I will even be traveling again, period, to be honest with you. So, it's just, it's just depending on what happens. Because she and I said that this could be our last trip, period, for a while. As if, train boy. As if. That'll be tomorrow, though. But, because I'll tell you where I'm going to be. Down at the depot, 12 noon. First train to Whitaker. I'm going to try and film it coming in and film it departing. If I can. The train I'll be getting on is the one that comes, I think, an hour or two later. Basically when the train consist comes back. At 2. So, yeah. I tell you, though, it's real peaceful out here. It really is. I mean, this is a kind of peace that I really don't get to have at all at home. In fact, I even told Jesse, I envy you. You've got a family who supports what you're doing. Mine doesn't care about what I'm doing on YouTube. And that's the thing. He's doing college work. He's got an internship. He's got, I think a lot more college work that he's planning on doing at another college or school after he's done with the one he's got. And he's also trying to continue his YouTube channel along with all that. I mean, that is just truly admirable. And something I have a very deep respect towards regarding him. I don't think I could do all that. I don't think I could juggle that much stuff all at once. That's Jesse for you. Once he sets out to do something, he doesn't stop until it's done. I mean, that's a trait that I really respect about him, is the fact that he's able to do all that and not cave under the pressure. If I tried that, I would cave. I'd probably have a panic attack, to be honest with you. But the thing is like, his parents are very supportive of everything he's doing. They're supportive of his schoolwork. They're supportive of his film work. My parents are just, they really, I'm not going to say they're the complete opposite. They're not. But, they're more of the kind that really just don't care too much. In fact, I mean, every trip I've gone on, I've brought them stuff back, but it's like, occasionally they ask, oh, what all did you do? Where all did you go? And I start telling them, and it's like, they're like, yeah, that's great. Glad you had a good time. And then it's right back to what I have to do at the house every day. Every chore, everything else, I mean, with his parents, I'm sure if I'm sure he's probably told them everything we both did together, and I guarantee you they listened. They did listen, in fact. I don't think my mom and them would actually take the time to listen or bother listening to begin with. But, that's just the way it is. We both live different lives. We both have different family lives. His is stable, mine's a bit hectic. I'll just leave it at that. It's a bit hectic, but it's just the way it is, really. I mean, the only time I ever have any kind of peace away from all of that is when I'm able to travel and do stuff like this, or when I'm with my grandparents. Ellen, who's the grandmother I'm with almost every trip I've been on, and then my mom's mother. That seems to be the only time I'm ever able to find peace. Or when I was driving, when I was in coma, I was able to get away from all that insanity for like a few hours at best. But even then, my driving is starting to become sporadic. Like, I'm going to be honest, I've gotten to where due to that wreck, I've gotten too scared to drive on my own again. Even on roads I know. So you can guess how that's going. Yes?
And you're just watching happily on the front porch.
I'm doing a live stream right now.
Oh, good. Well, I hope you're happy.
I am.
Good.
If only she knew. I intend to, train boy. I'm going to do more than enjoy it. Much more. I'm going to savor it. I don't think I've told any of y'all this, but every time I've had to leave, it's been tough. Having to say goodbye to this place. In fact, the last 2 times I had to leave here, I quite literally broke down. I feel the same. I mean, what I feel for Cass is what my grandmother feels for Florence, Italy. She cried when she had to leave Florence. I cried when I had to leave Cass. Didn't matter how old I was. It didn't matter if I was 14 or 17. It's probably going to be it's probably going to be the similar instance here. But of course, it was the same way when I had to. Excuse me. It was the same way when me and Jesse had to part ways. I mean, he and I hadn't seen each other in person since we met up at the Railroad Museum in Chattanooga. That was back in 2018. We were both, I guess you could say, teenagers then. We're practically grown men now. Young men now, I should say. I'll be. Gabster Gaming, yes sir, I am. I'm going to be on the 2 o'clock to Whitaker, as well as on the train to Bald Knob on Sunday. Tell me, do you recall a brakeman by the name of Josh? I forget his last name. It started with an F. If you look on my channel, you'll hear me talking to him on the return trip down the mountain from Bald Knob. I heard from an employee up here that he quit. I'm kind of surprised, like I said earlier when I started this stream, when I was talking to him, I could tell he loved the job. He enjoyed it thoroughly. In fact, from what I heard, he was a good employee up until the day he quit. I don't know if that was because, he couldn't get any kind of income or what, but I hope that he'll be able to come back. I really hope he comes back because, I mean, he was a great conductor. He was a great staff member for the railroad. He made the trip up and down the mountain enjoyable. He made me laugh. I've got video proof explaining why. I was filming the last train that departed Cass for the day. When the train consist Yeah, I've got a lot of memories of Josh. Well, I'd imagine the reason nobody up here talks about him is because of the fact that him quitting is almost like a betrayal, really, to be such a good employee and then turn your back. I mean, I can understand, but at the same time, I can also understand, why he probably had to do it. If he wasn't getting enough to provide for his family, I can understand. But what, I mean, I don't know if he watches this video or not. I doubt it. I don't think he remembers me. But the fact is, whatever unemployment thing he's drawing is not going to last forever. And eventually, he'll have to start trying to go back out and work again. And I hope I hope he comes back, and I hope he's able to come back with open arms. I don't want anybody here to treat him like a traitor. He's a good man, and he was one who really loved his job. I can tell you that straight off. I remember him as a guy who loved to come to work every day, who loved to make the passenger's trip memorable, as well as enjoyable. I mean, he was great with younger, kids. I know he made me laugh often. Yeah, I've heard about the climax. I've seen video of it. Ian Gabster, an employee who was doing the night shift told me, one of the night hostlers told me about the climax. I hate it. I'm going to miss it. I believe I'll be in Roanoke on the 19th. So, yeah. Excuse me. Sorry. Hold on. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I swallowed wrong for a bit. Oh my God. Murphy's Law. My God. See, I've said this. I'm good, Train Boy. I just accidentally coughed something up wrong. That's all. Well, Gabster, Murphy's Law. It's like every time there's a major event, I always end up coming too early, too late, or end up missing it altogether. Oh my God. But the thing is, the only reason came today was because, well, the house we're in now was the only one available. So, yeah. Tell me, Gabster. Are you going to be on the last car on the Bald Knob train? Because, I'm just curious because, I don't know if that's the car I'm going to be, in going up or down. So, if it's going up, I'll be happy to join you. We could probably talk, if that's all right, and talk in person. Or it could be vice versa, depending on how, your schedule is, I suppose. B&O fan, you're looking at somebody who's been to the railroad. In fact, the Great Smoky Mountains Railroad is the first railroad I rode on, period. I rode it when I was 4 years old. And rode it again when I was 5. And a third time when I was 8. Excuse me. I rode the train again when I was 16, which is when they first got 1702 back out and running. I rode the train to the Nantahala Outdoor Center and back. What I need to do is the run to Dillsboro, because that's the run I remember from when I was a kid. That'll work. Gabster, I have a beige Cass Railroad hat. that I got when I was here back in 2017, and a green army jacket, one that was never issued. I'll probably be wearing I don't know, a Union Pacific shirt or a shirt with a Pennsylvania GG1 on it or the solid red. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see on what I wear. But I can definitely tell you that I'll be having I'll either have my green army jacket on with my cast hat on, or it'll just be my cast hat. I mean, you already know what I look like face-wise, but yeah. Frustrated cat. The answer is neither, because I don't want to see people die in front of me. I'm glad to see Shay number 2 is still running after these past 3 years. I'm guessing it's been in and out of overhaul a few times, though, since my last trip here, right? Because that's the one that took us up to, I think, either Bald Knob or Whitaker when I was here last. So I'm guessing Shay number 5 and 6 are down, I suppose? Or is it like, say, 11 or 6? I don't know which. Excuse me. God. I must have swallowed something wrong, or it had something come up and it almost go down the wrong windpipe or something. I don't know, but that's sometimes normal with me. When that happens, it gets me into a coughing fit. Before you ask, no, I don't have COVID. In fact, I got my shots just before we went on this trip. So Western Maryland 6 is in the shops, huh? Well, I'm glad to see 2, 4, 5, and 11 running. And Climax 9. That'd be interesting to see. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, isn't the Heisler still running up in Durban, or has that been trucked down here to be overhauled again? Because it was running 3 years ago, and I know Durban's Climax is actually down here. Yeah, train boy, I'll probably get kicked off I'll probably get kicked out of town for that. And actually, that wouldn't even be a good idea anyway because of the suction. The suction would cause a vacuum and pull you under. But, yeah. It's pretty out here. I'm seeing fireflies. First time I've seen them in forever, to be honest with you. I don't think they'll show up on camera, though. Drink from a fire extinguisher! Oh my god. Dude, the only thing I'd get from a freaking fire extinguisher is a freaking water blast to the face. Be the ultimate shower that would probably knock my teeth out. Yeah, I'm not actually going to do that because, besides, I'd get in serious trouble if I did. In fact, I do believe tampering with a fire hydrant, if I'm not mistaken, is a federal offense. I don't know. I haven't been out back in Athens since June 4th, so no, I don't know. But yeah, going back to what I was saying about it being tough to leave cast, it's tough to leave a place you fall in love with, As crazy as it sounds, it was the same. It was the same thing the last day Jesse and I were together in person. It's hard for me to say goodbye, because the only other time he and I are ever able to talk is on the computer, and that's rapidly becoming a rare thing as he continues with his schoolwork and whatnot. Which I understand, Eventually, you just have to stop talking to people in order to get what you need to do done. I understand that. I know it. Will there come a point where we both have to go separate ways? Yes, eventually, but that's just how life is. If you hold on to your friends, you'll never be able to move on. There's cases where having a good friend is okay, and then there's cases where it can hold you back. And before everybody starts asking, no, Jesse is not quitting YouTube. That is not what I'm saying, period. He's not quitting, and as far as I know, he doesn't have any intentions of quitting. I'm just saying that eventually, the collaborations that he and I do together may have to come to an end because both of our lives will probably have to move on. And I don't know if they'd be able to move on together because we're both trying to go down different paths. I mean, I'm trying to carry on by what I'm doing with my stepdad. He's going on to try and do something with, I guess, either film or advertising with, I believe, a Chamber of Commerce, if I'm not mistaken. Though I could be wrong on that. He's welcome to correct me. But, it is what it is, I mean, unless we're able to form some kind of reunion or something for like 10 or so years down the road, I guess that'd be the only other time we'd ever meet in person or talk to each other again. But, nobody knows what'll happen then. Nobody will know what's happening in 10 years. But, yeah. Gabster, I used to have Facebook, but I got rid of it because of all the insanity that goes on there. I don't do Facebook. I do Discord, but I don't do Facebook. I've got Twitter, but it's rare for me to post, obviously. But, yeah. Test channel, what? Oh my God, test channel. No, Jesse is not quitting YouTube. Jesse Gillette is not quitting YouTube. I don't know why everybody is assuming he's quitting YouTube. He's not. He is not quitting YouTube. What I'm saying is the videos that he and I do together are collaborations. At some point will have to come to an end so that we can both continue on with our lives. I'm not saying he's quitting YouTube by saying that. I'm saying that the videos he and I do together will probably just have to stop. He'll still continue YouTube. We just won't be able to do videos together anymore. But that's not going to happen now. That's not going to happen now. But yeah, I just wanted to let all of y'all know that my grandmother and I made it here safe, and that a lot of what I've recorded on this trip so far is just essentially in storage right now on my computer. I've got it all stored in different folders denoting what is what. What is that on my freaking sock? Get off! Ay, ay. But, it is what it is, I suppose. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jesse's probably going to call me and ask, dude, what the hell? He's probably going to go, dude, what are you doing? But, I doubt that. But no, before anybody starts saying anything like I'm saying here, Jesse Gillette is not, I repeat, is not quitting YouTube. I'm just saying at some point in our lives, whenever that'll be, we'll both probably get so busy that we simply will not have time to record videos together anymore. In fact, he and I were hoping to try and record on that cinematic he released today, or the day before today, but my grandmother and I were still heading to Harrisburg, so I missed my chance with that. But from what I could tell, it's still good. It's fantastic. And if you compare his cinematic that he did solo with the ones he and I did, it's actually a lot better now that I say it. But yeah. And by the way, before you guys ask, if you're saying Jesse probably posted something about that, it's not that he's quitting, he's probably taking a break. Like a short break to catch up on work that he needed to do, because I didn't know this until after he called to check on me and my grandmother. But during the days that he and I were together, apparently he had a lot of schoolwork that came in that he's having to catch up on. So if I'm correct, he's taking a short break from YouTube so that he can get all of that done and get all of that caught up, and then he'll resume his upload schedule. So, yes. Anyway, I believe I'm going to let you guys go so I can take care of this video as I need to get uploaded. And I'll just see y'all later, I suppose. And keep in mind, the video uploads are probably going to continue long after the trip is over, as far as stuff from the trip is concerned, because my grandmother and I have been running like birds with our heads cut off, trying to get to the places we've got reservations for, as far as places to stay on the trip. So a lot of the drives have been long enough to where we're getting in pretty much at dark or close to it. And, you know, couple that with us getting all of our stuff unloaded and then going to eat. There's simply not a lot of time for me to go and get my computer set up, get all the videos edited together, and do all that. But, yeah. Also, frustrated, that's not my line. That was a line by, I think, one of Jesse's friends named CJ, I believe. He was the one who said that. He said it first, not me. I just say it as an homage to him. But, yeah, I'm probably going to end the stream here, and I'll see all of you later.